the kinds of data that the NSA collects on the phone calls that individuals make to telephone numbers of suspected terrorists, phone calls that those people make to other people and that those people make to other people, some of that's going to be reined in a little bit, and that might restrict the number of individual phone numbers that get collected in this metadata database. But the kinds of information the NSA is collecting is not going to go away. It's way too valuable to the president to do that. So the reforms are pretty modest. How do we want to balance the inherent tension between a very powerful state security apparatus, like the NSA, and the need for individual liberty and protections of individual liberty? There's an inherent tension between these two, both very important goals. And we need to have a broader conversation about them in order to reconcile our vision as a public with what we actually do. And the president put that out there, you know, in a broad way to initiate that discussion and to indicate that he's aware of the issue. The nature of the NSA's business is you don't hear a lot about their successes. You know, you might hear about their failures, but their successes, you know, because nothing happened. And so it's hard to prove that, and it's especially hard to give, you know, dispositive information about it that really proves that they were instrumental in averting a terrorist attack, for example. It's difficult to present that and sort of put that in context with the public. So I don't think we can completely get rid of the NSA. It's not a realistic proposition. And so the question is, how do we oversee what the NSA does? How do we make sure that they have really good reasons to do surveillance on, you know, individuals in the United States or even American citizens? And how do we make sure that they have to prove an important security rationale for the things that they do that are intrusive for Americans? Yeah, I mean, the NSA was much more involved in intercepting the actual content of internet communications and emails and internet activity than it had previously indicated. This is a crucial channel for communication and for organization of, you know, potential security threats to the United States. So the NSA, if it's going to be able to do its job, is going to have to be involved in it to some extent. The issues are really individual privacy. Who are you talking to? Who are you communicating with? What are you talking about? What are you saying to them? And whether we're talking about the telephone or the internet, the issues are really similar. So the issue of NSA, of oversight of the NSA, and of making sure that the NSA has to have good reasons in the eyes of some, you know, third party that doesn't necessarily believe everything the NSA tells them, that's still the key issue involved in internet communications too. Another element of the proposal that Obama put out there was that the metadata about phone calls and communications that the NSA was collecting might be held by a third party. That it's not on NSA computer servers that the NSA can access at any time, and so it would need an order from the Foreign Intelligence Security Court before it was able to make specific queries as pertains to Americans in particular. So the key question, again, of oversight and of protection and restraint on the NSA comes down to what are the restrictions on their ability to make these queries about communications and telephone numbers of individuals in the United States. That's where the real civil liberties issue comes in. I mean, Obama himself said, you know, every country in the world with an intelligence service spies on people in other countries, and the United States is certainly not going to change that fact. I think there's a broad agreement that the NSA went a little too far, and it does need further restrictions, but the ones proposed by the president will not be ones that compromise the ability of the NSA to do anything important for the security of the United States. Executive branches have never been in the business of saying, you know, we need to rein in our power a little bit because the liberty of individuals depends on it. The nature of executive power is always to push a little bit further, to be a little bit more vigorous, you know, to perceive a threat and to emphasize the possibility of a threat, because they are the ones who are responsible for dealing with it. And so they're hypervigilant about it, and they want as much power as they can possibly get in dealing with it. I don't think that we can take that apathetic attitude that if you're not doing anything wrong, you don't have anything to worry about. You know, I think when the government is watching you, you know, they are the ones who need to provide a justification for it. That's stood us in that's been a sort of precept of American government and of English government, you know, stretching before that, you know, that there's a good reason for it, and we should hold on to that.